My dear friends, have you ever noticed how a truly strong woman walks into a room? She doesn't need to announce herself. She doesn't need to compare, to prove, or to compete. Her presence alone speaks of grace, confidence, and quiet power. You see, a strong woman doesn't chase the spotlight. The light finds her because she is the light. In a world that constantly tells women to be better than others, to outshine, outperform, outdo, the strong woman smiles and chooses a different path. She doesn't fight for the crown. She already wears it. Competing is for those who are unsure of their worth. Reigning is for those who have realized their value. A queen never lowers her crown to compare it with another. She polishes it, straightens it, and keeps walking her path. Her strength is not in comparison, it's in composure. Her dignity is not measured by victory over others, but by mastery over herself. When a strong woman sees another woman rise, she doesn't feel threatened, she feels inspired. Because queens don't compete, they collaborate. She knows that empowering another doesn't dim her light, it multiplies it. True strength is not loud, it's silent confidence. It's the calm that comes from knowing, I am enough. It's the grace to lift others, even when the world tells you to push them down. The strong woman doesn't ask for validation. She creates it through her actions, her values, and her consistency. She reigns not over others, but over her fears, her doubts, her insecurities. She reigns because she has learned to rule herself. True strength is not found in the noise of competition, but in the quiet confidence of self-awareness. A truly strong woman doesn't need to prove that she is powerful, she simply is. Her strength is not a performance for the world to see, but a peaceful energy that flows from within. She doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. Her calm presence commands respect far more than words ever could. When she walks into a room, people sense something different, not arrogance, not aggression, but a serenity that comes from knowing who she is and what she stands for. In a society that often measures success by comparison, the strong woman moves differently. She doesn't rush to show her worth. She doesn't fight for attention. She understands that her journey is not a race but a rhythm, and she moves to her own beat. While others exhaust themselves trying to outshine each other, she focuses on shining from within. She has learned that when you know your value, you no longer chase validation. Her strength lies in her stillness, not in her struggle to be seen. This kind of silent strength is misunderstood by many. People may mistake her calm for weakness, her patience for submission, or her silence for ignorance. But what they fail to see is that silence is her strategy. She listens before she speaks, observes before she acts, and understands before she reacts. She knows that those who speak the loudest often carry the least peace inside. Her power is in her ability to stay centered even when the world around her is spinning in chaos. A strong woman doesn't compete for a spotlight because she knows that true light doesn't need to be borrowed. It is created within. She doesn't seek approval from others because her approval of herself is enough. She doesn't get distracted by what others are doing because she's too focused on who she's becoming. Her journey is internal, and every step she takes is guided by purpose, not pressure. When challenges come, she doesn't crumble, she pauses. When people doubt her, she doesn't argue. She proves them wrong with quiet consistency. When life tests her, she doesn't seek pity. She grows stronger in the silence of her struggle. Her resilience is not loud or dramatic. It's steady, humble, and deeply rooted. She doesn't waste her energy on proving she's better than someone else. Instead, she invests that energy into becoming better than she was yesterday. You see, true strength isn't about overpowering others, it's about mastering oneself. The strong woman doesn't compete because she knows that competition is born from insecurity, while peace is born from confidence. Her calm is her crown, and her patience is her power. She doesn't let the noise of the world distract her from the melody of her soul. Her strength is not in dominance, but in dignity, not in comparison, but in composure. In her silence, she builds. In her calm, she conquers. And when she finally speaks, her words carry the weight of wisdom because they come from a place of clarity and conviction. That is why true strength is silent, because it doesn't need to shout to be recognized. It is felt, not heard. And when a woman embraces that kind of strength, she doesn't just survive, she reigns. Confidence is not built in comparison, it is born in self-acceptance. A strong woman knows that she doesn't need to compete with anyone because her journey is uniquely hers. She understands that comparison is a thief. It steals joy, peace, and focus. Competing with others means believing that someone else's success threatens her own. But she knows better. Her confidence allows her to admire another woman's beauty, talent, or success without questioning her own worth. She doesn't need to outdo someone else to feel valuable. Her value exists without validation. In a world obsessed with likes, followers, and external praise, a confident woman quietly detaches from that noise. She doesn't measure her worth by applause or attention. Her validation doesn't come from how many people approve of her. It comes from knowing that she is walking in alignment with her purpose. Her confidence is steady, not situational. It doesn't waver when others rise. It remains strong because it's rooted in something deeper than achievement. It's rooted in self-awareness. Competing is often the result of insecurity. When a woman doesn't know her worth, she seeks proof of it in others' eyes. She begins to compare her timeline, her success, even her appearance. But the strong woman understands that comparison leads to anxiety, while confidence leads to peace. She doesn't look at someone else's path and feel lacking. She looks at her own and feels gratitude. Her confidence allows her to walk with assurance, not arrogance. It allows her to celebrate others' victories because she knows their success doesn't diminish hers. Confidence is quiet because it doesn't need to shout. It's the calm assurance that says, I am enough. It's waking up each morning knowing that her worth isn't determined by how productive she is, how admired she is, or how perfect she seems. Her confidence is born from the acceptance of her flaws, the lessons from her failures, and the courage to keep going despite uncertainty. She understands that every setback refines her, not defines her. This is why the strong woman doesn't waste her energy competing. She invests it in growing. While others are busy comparing themselves, she's focused on improving herself. She knows that her only competition is who she was yesterday. Her growth becomes her victory. Her peace becomes her power. And her self-belief becomes her crown. A confident woman doesn't try to prove that she belongs. She knows she already does. She doesn't need to shout her achievements from rooftops because her work speaks for itself. She doesn't imitate others. She inspires them simply by being authentic. Her confidence isn't prideful, it's peaceful. It's not about feeling superior to others, but about feeling secure within herself. The power of confidence lies in freedom, the freedom from comparison, judgment, and the need for approval. When a woman reaches that point, her spirit becomes untouchable. She becomes unstoppable, not because she's better than anyone else, but because she no longer tries to be. She knows her pace, trusts her process, and walks with purpose. Her confidence radiates without competition, and her presence inspires without effort. That's the kind of strength that can't be taught. It's discovered. The kind that allows a woman to stand tall, not because she's trying to outshine others, but because she has finally realized she was never meant to compete. She was meant to reign. A strong woman doesn't chase crowns because she already knows she's royalty in her own right. She doesn't run after validation or recognition because she has learned that her worth isn't something the world gives. It's something she carries within. A crown is not earned through competition, it is worn through character. When she understands this truth, she stops chasing the temporary admiration of others and begins to focus on building an eternal sense of self-respect. She doesn't compete for the crown of success, beauty, or attention because she realizes she already possesses the greatest crown: self-awareness, integrity, and peace. The world often teaches women to compete for visibility, to be prettier, smarter, stronger, or more accomplished than the next person. But a strong woman sees through this illusion. She knows that the real crown is not gold and jewels. It is the calm confidence that rests quietly on her soul. Her strength doesn't come from being above others. It comes from standing tall within herself. She doesn't feel the need to prove that she is better. She is content with simply being her authentic self. That authenticity becomes her royalty, her quiet throne in a noisy world. When others chase crowns, they are chasing validation. They seek recognition to feel seen, success to feel worthy, and applause to feel valued. But she knows that external crowns can fall, fame fades, beauty changes, and applause dies down. That's why she chooses to wear the invisible crown of self, respect, and dignity. No one can take that away. It doesn't shine under spotlights, but it glows in the dark moments when she chooses integrity over approval, calm over chaos, and grace over ego. Her crown is her composure. It's the way she handles criticism without losing confidence. It's the way she keeps her values intact even when others compromise theirs. It's the way she stays kind in a world that rewards cruelty. Every time she chooses peace over pride, she polishes her crown. Every time she rises after falling, she straightens it. Every time she refuses to compare herself with another, her crown shines brighter. She doesn't chase crowns because she knows that a true queen never runs after her title. She embodies it. A crown isn't something you wear to look powerful. It's something you earn by being grounded. The strong woman doesn't rely on the world to define her. She defines herself through her actions, her consistency, and her purpose. Her crown represents not superiority, but sovereignty, the ability to reign over her own emotions, her own dreams, and her own destiny. You see, chasing crowns leads to exhaustion, but owning your crown brings peace. The strong woman understands that the more she tries to prove her worth to others, the further she drifts from her truth. So she stops running, stops comparing, and stops seeking permission to shine. She simply stands tall in knowing that her light doesn't need validation, it just needs authenticity. Her crown may be invisible, but its power is undeniable. It's in the way she carries herself, the way she treats others, and the way she keeps her heart gentle, even when life gets hard. She doesn't chase crowns because she already reigns, not over people, but over herself. And that's what makes her truly royal. Grace is one of the strongest forms of power, and a strong woman understands this truth deeply. When the world provokes her to react, she chooses to respond with calm. When she faces harsh words, she answers with quiet dignity. She knows that her grace is her greatest weapon, not because it makes her superior, but because it keeps her soul unshaken. While others may lose their peace trying to prove their point, she keeps her composure and lets her actions speak louder than her emotions. Grace doesn't mean weakness. It means having the strength to stay kind even when it's easier to be cruel. A strong woman's grace is not passive, it's powerful. It takes tremendous inner control to stay centered when chaos surrounds you. It takes wisdom to listen when you could easily argue. It takes maturity to forgive when pride tempts you to fight back. She has learned that not every battle deserves her energy, and not every insult deserves her attention. Her grace allows her to see the bigger picture, to rise above petty conflicts and protect her peace instead of defending her ego. She understands that peace is more valuable than winning an argument. Grace is also what allows her to handle success with humility and failure with patience. When she wins, She doesn't boast, she stays grounded. When she falls, she doesn't complain, she learns. Her calmness in both victory and loss shows the depth of her inner strength. Grace teaches her that she doesn't need to dominate others to prove her power. She reigns best when she remains kind, compassionate, and composed, even when life tests her spirit. People often mistake gentleness for fragility, but it takes far more courage to remain gentle in a harsh world. It's easy to shout, easy to react, easy to seek revenge, but grace takes restraint. It takes discipline of the heart. A strong woman's grace disarms hostility and diffuses tension because she refuses to feed the fire of conflict. Her softness is not weakness, it's self-control wrapped in warmth. It's the ability to hold power without letting it corrupt her spirit. Her grace also gives her freedom. When she chooses not to argue, not to compete, not to respond with bitterness, she frees herself from the emotional chains of others' negativity. She knows that peace of mind is more valuable than proving a point. The grace helps her detach from drama and stay focused on her purpose. It allows her to stay radiant even when life gets messy. While others may drain themselves trying to be right, she conserves her energy by being wise. Grace doesn't mean she tolerates disrespect. It means she knows how to walk away without losing her dignity. She doesn't let anger control her or revenge consume her. Her silence becomes her strength, and her calm becomes her armor. Every time she chooses understanding over argument, empathy over ego, and peace over pride, she becomes stronger. Her grace is her quiet rebellion against the chaos of the world. It's her way of saying, I refuse to let the darkness around me steal the light within me. That's why her grace is her true power. It protects her spirit, elevates her presence, and inspires others to rise above noise with elegance. She doesn't fight to be noticed. She allows her grace to make her unforgettable. A strong woman knows that her purpose is not to compete, but to connect. She understands that life is not a race against others, but a journey toward growth, unity, and purpose. While many people exhaust themselves trying to be better than everyone else, she focuses on becoming better with others. She knows that real strength is not shown by stepping over someone, but by lifting them up. Collaboration over comparison, that's her silent mantra. Her success doesn't depend on someone else's failure. It thrives when others rise with her. She celebrates the achievements of others because she knows that another woman's light doesn't dim her own. When she sees someone succeed, she feels joy, not jealousy. When someone else shines, she applauds rather than competes. Her confidence allows her to appreciate others without feeling threatened, because she knows that abundance is not limited, it's shared. The universe is vast, and there's room for every dream to flourish. She understands that one woman's victory is proof that success is possible for all. Instead of comparing herself, she learns from others. She watches their journeys not to envy them, but to be inspired. Every person she meets becomes a teacher Every success story a lesson, and every failure a reminder of resilience. She uses the achievements of others as motivation, not measurement. That mindset keeps her heart open and her ego humble. When collaboration replaces competition, magic happens. A strong woman brings people together instead of dividing them. She believes in the power of community. The idea that women supporting women can create movements that change the world. She mentors, guides, and uplifts those around her because she knows that leadership is not about control, it's about contribution. Her influence doesn't come from authority, but from authenticity. She helps others rise because she remembers how hard it was when she had to climb alone. This mindset of collaboration makes her presence magnetic. People feel safe around her because she doesn't judge, compare, or diminish others. She listens, supports, and celebrates. She's the kind of woman who claps for others when no one else does. She creates space for others to grow without fear. Her success becomes more meaningful because it's shared, not hoarded. When she lifts others, she doesn't lose power, she multiplies it. The strong woman has learned that comparison breeds bitterness, but collaboration builds legacy. Competing may win short-term applause, but collaboration wins lifelong respect. By working with others, she amplifies her own strength and creates a ripple effect of empowerment. She knows that when women unite, the impact is unstoppable. It's no longer, I win or you win. It becomes, we rise. When she collaborates, she breaks the illusion of scarcity. She knows that the world is not short of opportunities, but short of unity. Every time she encourages someone, she plants a seed of hope. Every time she mentors another, she grows her own soul. Her ability to lift others becomes her greatest achievement. A strong woman doesn't stand alone on the top of the mountain. She extends her hand to pull others up beside her. That's how she reigns, not by dominating others, but by empowering them. In her world, success is not a crown to wear, it's a torch to share. She believes that when women stop comparing and start collaborating, they don't just rise, they reign together. The strongest kind of power is not the power you hold over others. It's the power you hold over yourself. A strong woman understands that true mastery begins within. Before she can lead, inspire, or influence, she first learns to rule her own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. She realizes that the greatest battles are not fought in the world outside, but in the quiet corners of the heart and mind. To master oneself is to reign over the chaos that tries to pull you away from peace. It's to stay calm when everything around you demands you to lose control. It's to rise above impulsive emotions and choose wisdom instead. She knows that self-mastery is not a one-time victory, but a daily discipline. It's in the small moments, choosing patience when anger feels easier, kindness when judgment tempts her, and calm when chaos calls her name. It takes immense strength to stay centered when life tries to push you off balance. That strength is not born overnight. It's built through consistency, self-reflection, and awareness. She has learned that when she controls her mind, she controls her world. The strong woman doesn't allow emotions to dictate her direction. She feels deeply, but she doesn't let those feelings rule her. When pain comes, she allows herself to feel it, but doesn't let it harden her heart. When disappointment hits, she doesn't drown in self-pity. She learns from it. When people misunderstand her, she doesn't waste her energy trying to explain. She stays rooted in her truth. That is the quiet confidence of someone who has mastered her inner world. Self-mastery also means not allowing external noise to disturb internal peace. In a world filled with opinions, she has learned the art of selective listening, hearing what matters and letting go of what doesn't. She doesn't react to everything that tries to provoke her because she values her peace more than her pride. Her calm is her crown. She doesn't need to prove she's strong by arguing. She proves it by staying composed. This mastery over herself extends to how she treats others. She doesn't let ego control her relationships. She doesn't respond to envy with envy or anger with anger. She chooses grace even when it's not reciprocated, not because others deserve it, but because she deserves peace. Her power lies in restraint, and her greatness lies in understanding. She knows that not everything needs a reaction, and not everyone deserves a response. There was a time when she might have been ruled by emotions, where her words were quick and her heart easily bruised. But experience taught her that wisdom grows in silence, and control grows through patience. Each time she chose peace over chaos, she built strength. Each time she forgave instead of fighting back, she gained freedom. That is how she learned to reign over herself, through surrender, awareness, and faith in her own growth. Mastering oneself is the highest form of victory. The strong woman doesn't need to control others because she has already conquered the hardest person she will ever face, herself. She reigns over her fears, her doubts, her insecurities, and her impulses. Her calmness is her armor, her patience is her sword, and her inner balance is her throne. She walks through life not as someone seeking to dominate the world but as someone who already rules the kingdom within her heart. A strong woman finds beauty not just in her own success, but in celebrating the victories of others. She knows that lifting someone else's light will never dim her own. It only makes the room brighter. Her heart is too big for jealousy, too wise for comparison, and too confident for insecurity. She claps genuinely for others because she understands that life is not a competition, but a collective journey. The rise of another woman is not her downfall. It's a sign that rising is possible for all. When she sees someone winning, she feels inspired rather than intimidated, motivated rather than discouraged. To celebrate others requires humility and emotional strength. It means being secure enough to acknowledge someone else's brilliance without feeling threatened. The strong woman knows that envy is the language of fear, while appreciation is the language of power. She has learned that those who can't celebrate others are often struggling to accept themselves. That's why she practices gratitude. It keeps her heart open and her ego quiet. When she sees someone else achieve what she dreams of, she doesn't question her path. She reminds herself that her time will come. Her ability to celebrate others also comes from a deep understanding of struggle. She knows what it takes to rise, the tears, the failures, the doubts. So when she sees someone succeed, she recognizes the journey behind the glory. Her applause is not out of formality, it's out of respect. She honors the effort, the resilience, and the discipline it took to get there. This mindset keeps her connected to humanity, not lost in comparison. When she celebrates others, she attracts positivity into her own life. The energy you give is the energy you receive, and her heart radiates joy. People love being around her because she uplifts, not competes. Her encouragement becomes contagious. She inspires others to do the same. Her presence turns competition into community. She knows that every time she applauds another's success, she plants the seeds for her own blessings to bloom. This way of thinking protects her from bitterness. She doesn't waste time wondering why someone else is ahead. Instead, she uses their journey as proof that dreams are achievable. Her perspective transforms envy into education. She studies others' paths to learn, not to compare. Every success story she sees reminds her that the universe rewards persistence. And she continues moving forward with faith and confidence. The strong woman also understands that celebrating others creates unbreakable bonds. When she cheers for someone genuinely, she builds trust and love. She becomes a safe space for others to share their achievements without fear of judgment. Her support becomes a form of strength for those around her, and in return, she finds herself surrounded by people who wish her well. That's the beauty of her spirit. She gives without expecting and receives without demanding. Even in moments when her own life feels stagnant, she still chooses to clap for others. That's where her true strength shines. It's easy to celebrate when you're winning, but it takes courage to celebrate when you're still waiting for your turn. She doesn't allow her temporary waiting season to turn her heart bitter. Instead, she turns it into preparation. She knows that blessings multiply when you can rejoice in someone else's joy. Her applause is not a performance. It's a reflection of her soul. She celebrates others because she has mastered one of life's greatest truths. When you are genuinely happy for others, you open the door for happiness to find you too. A strong woman draws her strength not from external approval, but from the quiet confidence that comes from within. She has learned that seeking validation from others is like chasing shadows. No matter how hard you run, they always move just out of reach. So she stops running. She learns to stand still, to listen to her own heart, and to find peace in her own reflection. Her validation no longer depends on applause, recognition, or acceptance. It comes from knowing who she is and being proud of that truth, even when no one else notices. The world constantly tries to tell women who they should be, how they should look, act, speak, or live. But a strong woman rejects these expectations. She understands that if she allows others to define her worth, she will always feel incomplete. Instead, she reclaims the power to define herself. She finds beauty in her individuality and strength in her imperfections. She doesn't wait for someone to tell her she's good enough. She already knows she is. Her validation is not borrowed. It's built brick by brick through experiences, lessons, and self-love. This self-validation gives her freedom. She no longer needs to change her personality to please others or shrink herself to make others comfortable. She can walk away from people who don't see her value because she no longer needs their permission to shine. Her self-worth is not dependent on the opinions of those around her. It is rooted in her purpose. She can sit in silence without feeling lonely because she has learned to enjoy her own company. That is the kind of strength that cannot be taken away because it doesn't come from others, it comes from within. Validation from others is temporary, but the validation that comes from self-awareness is eternal. When she began her journey, she may have sought approval from family, friends, or society. She may have doubted herself when others didn't believe in her. But through time and trials, she learned that the only opinion that truly matters is the one she holds of herself. She found that peace blooms the moment you stop begging for acceptance and start embracing authenticity. She learned that no amount of praise can replace the quiet satisfaction of knowing you stayed true to yourself. Her inner validation gives her resilience. When she fails, she doesn't crumble, she reflects and grows in there. When others criticize her, she listens, but she doesn't internalize their judgment. She takes what helps her grow and discards what tries to limit her. She doesn't live for approval, she lives for alignment. Her choices are guided not by popularity, but by purpose. That's why her strength feels so effortless. It's grounded in truth, not trends. Her validation also fuels her compassion. Because she no longer seeks constant affirmation, she doesn't need to compete or prove herself. She can uplift others without feeling diminished, because her confidence is not fragile. She can stand beside powerful women without insecurity and support struggling ones without pride. Her sense of worth allows her to connect deeply, love freely, and live authentically. There's a rare peace that comes from knowing you don't need anyone to tell you who you are. The strong woman carries that peace like a crown. It's in the way she walks, steady and sure. It's in the way she speaks, calm and clear. And it's in the way she lives, unapologetically true to herself. Her validation comes from within, and that inner light makes her unshakable. She no longer seeks to be approved. She seeks to be aligned. That's the power of self-worth. It makes her reign with quiet confidence in a world that constantly demands noise.